You know, it's close enough to 2 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 1:59, 2 o'clock PM. There it is, just changed. Um, Member Aaron Hernandez is joining us on Zoom. He is out. Um, so did we need to have a vote to approve him on Zoom or just the announcements?
Yes, because his absence in person is under just cause under the Brown Act law. He's not on the agenda, that he's not in person.
Oh.
And so the body or the committee would have to approve him to join as a voting member virtually. So we can do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I move that we approve.
A second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. Aaron, thank you for joining us virtually. All right, can we commence with roll call, Ruben?
Member Mejia,
Present?
Member Ramirez,
Present.
Member Merrick,
Present.
Member Gross,
Present.
Member McKellar,
Present.
Member Kudo Puller,
Present.
Member Garcia, Member Gandara,
Present.
Member Ruiz, Member De La Cruz,
Present.
Member Hernandez.
Present, thank you for accommodating me.
Now,
All right. Thank you, everyone. Are there any guests who would like to introduce themselves? Any guest on Zoom who would like to introduce themselves? All right, on item 2 for public comments on matters not on the agenda, starting with our individuals joining us in person. Yes, ma'am.
Speak.
Yep, and you're limited to 3 minutes.
Okay. All right, so I'm a regular MST rides bus rider. And it's a lot of serious issues with this new company that took over, and still some of the same issues that was with the previous company. You know, it is really hard getting through on the phone. They do not hire enough people to answer, and that was a problem before. I think their first couple days when they started, they only had one person answering the phone. They get hundreds of calls a day. You know, there is no excuse for that. They were supposed to be up and running on day one. You don't have those kind of mistakes on your first day. But still, you know, people call in sick, and sometimes there's only two people, and you call and you wait and you wait, and then it goes to voicemail. And I know the few times when I've left messages, they don't pick them up. I the one day I was getting ready, and then I realized I didn't get a call the night before, so I had to speak to supervisor because I had an appointment to go to. They should have called me back, and they didn't. You know, they need to, you know, hire more people, start paying more money. The issue with not having enough bus drivers, that's also an issue. They should be paying them a lot more. That should have already been in the contract. Because they're always hiring and then they're losing people. And, you know, they get behind because they have to pick up so many people. The issue too about them staying on time, you know, this kind of business, it's not possible when you have people in wheelchairs. Some may take, you know, a couple minutes, some may take 10 minutes, you know, depends on the kind of wheelchair and the person that's riding. You know, some of them, they need a lot more attention. And so that needs to be resolved. I've also seen where they push the drivers, they don't have time to take their breaks. They don't have time to take their lunches, or they have to take their lunches maybe 5 hours after they started working. And that's a federal issue. You do not want the state coming in and investigating why there's this problem, because they'll look at everything. They won't leave anything, you know, they'll look under all the rocks, everything. So that should be that's abusive. You know, that driving a bus is not easy. It's a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of stress because I've been on the bus where people just cut the bus off. They just get right in front and then they have to brake. I've seen where they change lanes. They don't even signal. They just expect the bus to move over. So I'm hoping those issues get resolved. And other than that, drivers are great. All of them are great. Never had a problem with them. They're all very nice, very professional, very accommodating where they can be. But they need to treat their people better.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any individuals on Zoom for public comments on matter not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, onto the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes from the last meeting on July 30th.
That's where I should bring that up. Okay,
Mm. Yep. go ahead.
there is just a typo, to remove spaces between ITN and Monterey County on the minutes and then in standing agendas moving forward.
So just to verify, it's ITNM.
Yeah,
So
no space.
Okay,
Correct.
Monterey County's italicized.
so we'll make that correction on all my stuff as well.
Right. Thank you.
All right, is there an approval of the minutes? Or a motion rather?
Move to approve. Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
We're gonna
I'll
make some
second.
motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, so passed. All right, that's the end of the consent agenda. On to presentations, the draft 2025 Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan. Regina Valentine.
Hey there. Great, I have a presentation to hopefully be shared on the screen. So thank you, members. As mentioned, I'll be presenting the draft 2025 coordinated plan. Next slide, please. Okay. So every 4 years, AMBAG updates the federally required Monterey Bay Area Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan. Thankfully, we call the coordinated plan for short because it's such a mouthful. The purpose of this document is to identify and plan for the transportation needs of seniors, persons with disabilities, and persons of limited means. For transportation providers such as MST to be eligible for Federal Transit Administration Section 5310 funding, projects must be identified in this plan. One thing to note is that this effort mirrors TAMC's annual Transportation Development Act process, identifying unmet transit needs, and provided the content for this document. Through the unmet transit needs process, TAMC identified county level projects, which were then used to create the regional level coordinated plan. Next slide. So here is a list of the federally required elements that must be included in the plan. An assessment of the currently available transportation services, an assessment of the transportation needs of the seniors and persons with disabilities, strategies, activities, and projects to address the gaps between what is currently available and what is needed, priorities for implementation, and lastly, when a transportation fleet is not 100% ADA accessible, a description of how equivalent service is provided. Next slide. So here is a walkthrough of the draft coordinated plan that has been posted to AMBAG's website. Chapter 1 is the executive summary. Chapter 2 is the introduction detailing the purpose of the plan, an overview of the federal requirements, and associated funding sources. Chapter 3 covers the plan elements specifically for Monterey County, including county community setting, public outreach that was conducted, currently available transportation services, transportation needs for the target populations, strategies, activities, and projects to address the identified gaps, and priorities for implementation. Chapters 4 and 5 include the same elements for San Benito and Santa Cruz counties, and Chapter 6 provides next steps. Next slide, please. So in terms of schedule, AMBAG has been providing this presentation to other advisory committees in the region. Draft comments are due on the draft plan this Friday, September 26th. Staff will review the comments received to prepare the final plan and request AMBAG board adoption at their November meeting. And the last slide includes my contact information. And of course, if there's any questions or comments.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, on to item 4.2, recognition and appreciation. Mr. Sidorik.
Thank you. Carl Sidorik, CEO of the Monterey Saline Transit District. We have a couple of your members are having their 5-year anniversary as being part of your committee. So we want to thank them for their dedication. And first, we'd like to present a certificate of appreciation to you, sir, Stephen Macias. Was for your valuable contribution, commitment, dedication, and 5 years of service to the Mobility Advisory Committee. 5 years. Outside. There we go. Thank you. Did you want to get a photo?
Yeah.
Okay. Right here? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate everything you do for us and for our community. Next up, we have Mr. Bobby Merritt. I'm doing well, Bobby. Thank you again for everything you do. There you go. And finally, we'd like to recognize Miss Jennifer Ramirez for her 5 years. Commitment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, on to item 5, new business, the discussion of a MAC representative to the Monterey County Commission on Disabilities. As I think I expressed at the last meeting, I had just joined the County Commission on Disabilities. It essentially advises the Monterey County Board of Supervisors in matters regarding people with disabilities, including regulating equal access to employment, public services, communications, infrastructure, which is a new thing that we're addressing, and accommodations. So it's comprised of representatives from different parts of the county that are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. I know they had presented here and asked if anybody would be interested in joining as an appointee of this advisory committee. And I'll open that up again if anybody has any interest in joining said committee. All right, seeing none, we'll move on and possibly keep it one more time and then move on to something else at the next meeting. All right, item 5.2, the Measure X Senior and Disabled Transportation Program. Aaron?
Yep, I have some slides for that. Good afternoon, everybody, members. Sorry I couldn't be there in person this time. I finally got caught with whatever's going around. So just to play it safe, I'm joining in online from a house. But today I did want to bring the Measure X Senior Disabled Transportation Program, which is a program that I am actually the program coordinator of here at TAMC, the transportation agency for Monterey County. And I want to provide an update of the program and then talk about the upcoming next round of grant funding. So if you go to the next slide, the Measure X Senior Disabled Transportation Program is a program that was part of the Measure X ballot that was approved by voters back in 2016. The purpose of this program is to increase transportation services for older adults and persons with disabilities, primarily funding nonprofit associations that provide like these specialized transportation services that local agencies like MST can otherwise not provide. And this is all in the means to fill in the transportation network gaps for these types of specialized services. The next slide. Right now, we are in cycle 3, the cycle 3 funding period. Each cycle is a 3-year funding period. Right now, the cycle 3 period is in its last year. So it'll end of June of next year, of June 2026. And these are the current, what you see on the screen are the current nonprofit providers that we currently fund in the cycle 3 period, which all of you, I'm sure, are pretty well familiar at this point, or even that provider. Next slide. So just some last reminders of cycle 3. The recipients have probably been notified at this point or well before, or have kept track, but for the sake of interest for everyone, the annual reports are due until December 31st. Some recipients actually submit their reports earlier at the end of the fiscal year just for more timeliness. So in our cycle 4, program guidelines, we actually kind of resynced the deadlines for the annual report, so they're more succinct with the fiscal years versus the calendar years, so that there's not that long gap for annual report submissions. And then again, we're in the last year of cycle 3 and grantees have until end of next June to expend all their funds. Any funds that do not get expended go back to the Measure X pot of funding to be used at some point in the future cycle. Next slide. So for the upcoming cycle 4 period, that'll go from 2026 through, or fiscal year 26-27 through fiscal year 28-29. One of the main updates for this cycle period is that because Measure X has actually accrued more funds than originally estimated. The original estimate was $20 million a year, but that has well increased over the years as the sales tax revenue has increased for Measure X. So TAMC staff was actually able to go and index some of the Measure X funding to allow programs like the Senior Disabled Transportation Program receive a bit more funding. So every 3 years so far, it's been $1.5 million. Starting in cycle 4, it'll now be $1.86 million available in funding. And it has been a pretty competitive program, at least for the last 2 cycles and definitely in the last cycle that I've been involved in. So some additional funding I know from past presentations has been something of a request. So that'll be something upcoming for cycle 4. Next slide. And just the overall timeline for the cycle 4 process. It's quite a bit of a process to first review the program guidelines with the committees. So in August, I first brought this to the Measure X Citizens Oversight Committee, and then today I bring it to the to us here. And then what's going to happen at our next Mobility Advisory Committee in November is I will come back and ask for any of us, at least one member from the committee, to be appointed to serve on our grant review committee. That grant review committee is pretty much sits with a group of us, which is the Citizens Oversight Committee, the MAC, and TAMC staff, to review the submitted applications and conduct site visits. So if you're planning to submit for cycle 4, obviously you wouldn't be able to participate in that, as that would be a conflict of interest. But for those of you who aren't, I would say give some time to kind of think about it. I'd say it's a really nice experience just to really get to know the programs that a lot of our fellow partners work on, and to really get to know the significance of why they apply for these funds. So it's a great learning opportunity. I would recommend. So so with that, in October, end of October is when we anticipate for the TAMC board to adopt the guidelines and then release the call for projects. And then the call for projects won't be due until December 18th. And then in the beginning of next year, from January through February, that's when we'll score the applications, review the results with the Measure X committee. And then if all goes planned as well, we can, the Tennessee board can adopt the program of projects of cycle 4 as early as March. So next slide. So that concludes my presentation. Hopefully you all got a chance to review the draft guidelines that were attached to the agenda, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Member Hernandez?
I do have a few about the draft document.
Aaron, would questions regarding the draft document be discussed now, or would it be easier just to send them in an email?
Yes, they can be discussed now. I believe on the staff report, there's committee members can provide input on the draft document.
Yeah, and it's item 5.2.2. So, okay, Mr. De La Cruz.
As I was reviewing the document, when they're talking about some of the transportation projects, are they addressing any of them for the South County region? Is there a focus on South County when we're talking about some of these projects?
Yeah, so one of the big things of the program guidelines was actually back in one of the previous cycles, actually, I believe it was in cycle 2, there was a question about having geographic equity more as a scoring component as part of the application process. So geographic equity, I believe later in the guidelines it shows, but there's different scoring criterias, geographic equity being one of those. And it was for the reason of concern of there not being much present services in the more unincorporated parts of the county, such as like North or South County.
And when I talk about like South County, I'm talking about some of the communities that are south of King City that have basically a service drought.
Yes, so that's something that's evaluated as far south like Senardo, Parkfield, Lockwood. So that's part of something that the scoring committee looks at when scoring the applications.
Mostly San Ardo and Lockwood, because they have a higher concentration of seniors in those two. And then on page, well, I guess somewhere page 38 or 40, since I work in the area of contracts and have done RFPs, some of the submittal instructions need to be a little or have more detail to them in regards to the packet needs to be delivered to the TAMC office and give the address and informing the agencies that may be submitting that it has to be delivered in person, not mailed, not emailed, and the number of depending on, I guess, the organization, the number of copies that need to be submitted, if a USB drive is required, that type of thing. Because for me, it's a little bit vague because we have to be very detailed on the submission process so that it's very clear to the individuals so that no one misunderstands, because we had that happen in a previous process where they took the due date as like, I can have it postmarked. And we lost a provider in that unfortunate incident.
Yes, thank you. I will keep that noted. I'll double check with our policies and procedures that we have in terms of our procurement with RFPs. But that could be something that we can verify before it gets released.
Oh, and on page 43 on your proposed submittal and grant award timeline, both February and March dates need to be 2026.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, any further questions? All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
All right, on to item 6, reports and information items. Ms. Blanca Peralta.
No, I just wanted to provide a quick, brief introduction. So this is Miss Blanca Peralta. She's the interim GM for TransDev. She's been with the contract since the beginning, July 1st, and been instrumental in the transition to the new contractor, and it's doing a great job. Although, as we heard from public comment, Ms. Paz, we've got some work to do. So, and you're welcome to present here or. Sure. And real quickly, I just noticed a mistake on 2 of the slides. The trips and the passengers are not including the taxi trips. So I will include those and send them back out to the committee. Apologize for that.
Thank you. Good afternoon. That's the trips by purpose.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes, I didn't
Anybody have-
get that slide. I'm sorry.
I got.
I don't.
A lot of pages to print. It's a lot of pages to print.
Thank you.
Not even.
Front and back? Okay, so. I think that I'd rather present from there.
Yeah.
And see this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's very.
It's kind of hard to.
Very-
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see,
But
yes.
expand it here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's helpful to-
Okay, so, this is showing that, I can see it. Okay. Yes, in, July, we had, 4, committee meeting, attendees, 4 trips, and 5 in the month of August, for a total of 9 for the purpose of attending a, committee meeting. Dialysis trips for July were 1,018. For August, 1,021, for a total of 2,039. Education, training, and daycare, July 2677, and in August 2493, for a total of 5,170. Employment trips, July 386, August 481, for a total of 867. Functional assessment in July, 46 trips, same number for August, for a total of 92. Medical trips, 1,109 for July, 933. For a total of 2,042. Nutritional purpose trip, 4 in the month of July, 3 in August, for a total of 7. Personal and recreational, 1,885 for July, 1,866 for August, for a total of 3,751. Sheltered workshop, we had 20 in July, 11 in August, for a total of 31. Shopping trips, 129 in July, 81 in August, for a total of 210. That's a total of 7,278 in the month of July, 6,940 for August, and a total of 14,218 trips. That's at TransDev. Yellow Cab committee meeting in July, 8 trips, 1 in August, for a total of 9. Dialysis, 209 in July, 65 in August, for a total of 274. Education, training, and daycare, 316 in July, 124 in August, for a total of 440. Employment trips, July, 210. August, 124, a total of 334. Functional assessment, 0 trips in July, 1 in August. Medical trips, 241 in July, 88 in August. Personal and recreational, 329 in July, 184 in August, for a total of 513. Sheltered workshop, 2 in July, 2 in August. Shopping trips, 21 in July, 9 in August, for a total of 30. And for the period in July, 1,336, 598 in August, and a total of 1,934 for Yellow Cab. Next slide, please. Rice trips. Yes. Hold on, I'm gonna have my own here. Okay. Rights trips. As Kevin stated, the Yellow Cab trips are not included in this count. I was wondering the decrease.
Yeah.
So in July, we run 7,278 trips, and in August, 6,940. Rights passengers in July, 9,215, and 8,836 in August. Next slide, please. Productivity in the month of July, compared to the previous year, if we can see a slight increase. We run 1.81. And in the month of August, we run 1.73 productivity compared to 1.66 that the previous carrier run for the previous year. We're trying to focus on the on-time performance, and you're going to see that on the chart below. The on-time performance in July was 89.61 compared to 84.66 from the previous year. And in the month of August, we nailed 92.26 compared to 85.71% of the August of the previous year. So we are implementing initiatives to continue improving the on-time performance. We're putting a lot of focus, and we're engaging with dispatchers and operators. Our motto is focus, engage, and provide the resources and the tools to the staff so they can deliver and the service and provide a service that is up to standard. Thank you.
And just something I wanted to add, as you can see from these slides, I think they leave a lot to be desired. We've been using these slides for a very long time, and so I'd like to work with Blanca to develop something that I think is, going to be a little bit more helpful. Transdev has a lot of tools and dashboards that they rely on that keep track of all the KPIs. So we're gonna present something different for the next MAC.
You have the rights, call hold time
Do
chart.
No.
Do you have July numbers available?
Yeah, I can get that.
Okay.
Question for the trips, for the yellow cab trips, I noticed that they are about half of what they were the previous month. Do you have a reason why that decrease happened?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to it personally. I've noticed that there's been a decrease. I might, just talking with Transdev, I think they're using taxis in a different way, using them for longer trips, and relying a little bit less on taxis, so. But
I was gonna say, do you have a reference for year over year? Because August is typically a difficult time traffic wise, and a lot of people avoid traveling in August if they
Right.
can if they're a local.
right,
So it'd be helpful to know what was the performance last August.
for what?
It was over 8,000 last year or 2 years ago, and it was almost 10.
But the taxi rides aren't included in that, you said, in the graphs.
Well,
for-
the past year data
Just
is,
FY26.
so they're only
True.
missing they're only missing 580 out of
Yeah,
that number.
okay.
But over these other numbers, it's still significantly less travel.
One of the things we've noticed, at least from our patients who come into the hospital is, or to the clinics, is a lot less traffic or movement due to fears of immigration raids, things like that. So a lot of people accessing services a whole lot less than in the past. And we've heard that through anecdotal sort of experiences, people not even wanting to sign up for Medi-Cal, things like that. So I do want to bring that up, is that
Yeah.
there might be other things too going on apart from, I'm assuming, also a lot of logistical aspects to the change.
Mhm.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I've kind of been scratching my head as to why the trips have decreased so much. So it's about a 20% decrease from last year. So
Mhm.
I know Car Week was very busy this year, so that could have contributed a little bit, but
And if I may comment on something on the immigration, we did 5 sites in this month for farmers market, which every year we get from the state and AAA cards. This time they're cards, they're like an ATM card. And I expected, as I was telling Thomas, I expected like 100 here, 100 there, 50 here. It was half. And a lot of them was that, and a lot of seniors said, we're scared. A lot of it is we can't run, because they're older and etc. So there was a big, yeah.
All right, seeing nothing further, we'll look forward to having these September and October numbers at the next meeting. Once I'm assuming travel has picked up a little bit, as mentioned, due to Car Week, people not wanting to travel, and with July being the transition month, so looking forward to those numbers. MST mobility updates, Christy.
All right, good afternoon, committee members, members of the public and MST staff. Again, Christy Sugapo, Mobility Services Manager. Just my update on what's happening in mobility. To start off, in our travel training program, we actually have a few things going on in travel training. So this past August, we ended up taking 3 groups of seniors to the Monterey County Fair Senior Day. So we actually took a group from Castroville, group from Salinas, and then a group from Greenfield. And the upcoming months in travel training, we are taking a few groups to the aquarium. Earlier this month, actually, we took a group of seniors from Marina, seniors from the Junsei Oaks complex and Marina Manor. And then in the coming month, October, We are going to take a group of veterans from the new housing location, Light Fighter Village, to the aquarium. And then in November, we're working with Hartnell students and staff to get them learn how to use our BOSS system to the aquarium as well. So a lot, aside from all the other travel trainings that we do, this is kind of just what I'm sharing with you because I think this is pretty amazing, taking out our seniors out to locations such as the aquarium. And then moving to our Navigator volunteer program. We currently have 9 volunteers at this time. 7 are adults and 2 are youth. We have 2 that is pending right now. And then in the taxi voucher program, so a little bit of a good news in the taxi voucher program, we are currently working with a cab company who is licensed to operate in the city of King City. They are called USA Taxi. And we are currently working with them to get them on board to become one of the taxi voucher provider. Right now, we are still in the stage of getting them trained on the taxi ADA certification training that's required by all of their drivers. And then on training on how they're going to submit for taxi voucher reimbursements. So more good news to come, hopefully. And looking forward to getting at least starting with King City taxi voucher program there. In our transportation reimbursement incentive program, we currently have 122 participants in this program. And then in our rides program, next month, we will be doing a mass mail out. We do this about every 3 to 5 years. In our rides program, certification varies from temporary to permanent. And so this gives us the opportunity to hear we have 9 volunteers, yes.
Wasn't it just 4 at the last meeting?
I believe so. And then there was this one month where Kelly Soriano, who was actually just recently this month, was recognized as our Employee of the Month. She did an amazing job in doing volunteer recruitment. And so we were able to increase that. What is it?
All right, thank you, Christy.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, item 7, announcements and appreciations. I have an announcement. So on November 22nd, the Blind and Visually Impaired Center is hosting what's become our annual Fall Gala and Silent Auction. This year we have Soledad Mayor Ana Velasquez as our Master of Ceremonies, with former Director for the California Department of Rehab, Joe Xavier, as our keynote speaker, with Robert Rivas expressing interest as serving as the second keynote speaker. Seat prices are still $150 a person. I haven't had to raise prices. I've secured extra wine this year. So as it stands, everybody can have a bottle and a half of wine.
Everybody stays.
And
And you're handing out taxi vouchers on the side.
so I do have invites for everybody here that I will just pass to the left and pass to the right. And that is it for my announcement.
Chair, did you mention the location of your event?
Oh, of course, it's at the Monterey Marriott Ferrante's Bayview Room, so top floor of the Monterey Marriott.
I think that's accessible by bus, so.
It is accessible by bus.
Chair, I also have an announcement. ITN Monterey County is having its annual fall office social that will be November 14th at the Hub. from 4:30 to 6:30. Everyone's welcome and flyers will come out digitally.
That's
Same.
November 14th, 5 o'clock.
4:30 to 6:30, yep, on Friday the 14th.
Do you have wine?
Oh, yeah.
And a really compelling guest speaker, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I have an announcement. As you know, Alliance on Aging does Medicare every year, and enrollment is coming up for October 15th to December 15th. It's very important, and I'll send a flyer to Ruben so he can share with the group. Especially now with everything that is happening, you know, prescriptions are rising, cost of insurance, all that good stuff. So please let your seniors know that to reach out for Alliance on Aging. The other announcement is, Erin, you're gonna like this. We went to Lockwood this past Friday. Teresa, former executive director for Alliance on Aging, she took on the LADAP project before she retired, and so she's working on that. And we had a really good conversation with two very active seniors, and one of them happens to be part of, I believe, AAA, or I forgot her name is Paula. I don't remember what in the department, but she's there. I don't think AAA, but she's in the Department of Social Service as a volunteer, etc. I'll let you know later.
Okay.
But one of the things was mentioned that the community, the population is very, very concerned as who to trust to come in and do services, because there's hardly any services there, especially, I'm sorry, MST. And so one of the big ones is MST is going to be asked by, Teresa's going to ask Christy to meet in October 19th, I believe. She's going to ask some of the major agencies that are part of the LADAP. And then we're going to do a mini fair January 24th, whatever the third Saturday of January. And they want specifics. For example, because a lot of seniors are aging and retiring, and they want to make sure that they are taken care of when it's their time to go to a facility or somewhere. So they want that. They want legal services there. They want obviously Medicare. But the big one is MST, like I said. The other one is a support group, because they happen to have 22 widows in that community. And so they're concerned that they want to make sure that they're out in the public, they're out, you know, et cetera. So we're going to start with a little small fair, see what happens, and then I'll bring it up and go from there. And, but I thought it was a great opportunity. I went last year, one time. Chris Lopez invited me to do a presentation. There were 60 seniors, and I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but it was so cute that some of the seniors, because of funding that they were going to fix the roads, et cetera, they were concerned because when weather comes, you know, fences fall and their animals are scattered everywhere. And so they have to go for them. So it was fun. It was like, what are we going to do for our pigs and our goats? And so I thought that was cute. But again, I wanted to bring this up to the table because I think it's a very strong community that needs services. And so I will be reporting on that in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Any other announcements or appreciations?
Chair.
Yes.
Not an announcement, but I know Erin's not joining us in person. So Erin, I'm gonna send you the invitation.
Oh, no, I asked TAMC to be a sponsor.
Oh, did you?
Yes, we've seen it.
Yeah. All right, on to item 8, subject item requests for anything on the agenda. I think at this point, we'll just go ahead and just take off the Commission on Disabilities as being kind of a recurring thing. Next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 19th, which is earlier than our other meetings as we voted for. So let's go ahead and adjourn at 2:49.